Hello and welcome. I'm Annie with ByAnnie.com and ByAnnie. Wait a minute. Hang on. We're on. We're ready? Okay. Thanks so much to everyone for joining us to week number 32 of Live with Annie. We're going to have some special guests today from FreeSpirit Fabrics. We know that there are so many ways you can spend your time, and we really appreciate you making the time to join us today. But before we start on today's program, I need to share a little ByAnnie update. As you may be aware, we recently installed a new accounting and business management system here at ByAnnie. The transition to the new system is progressing, but it continues to be a challenge for all of us. In addition to implementing the system, we're also faced with training all of the team in using a new system. That's further complicated by vacations of key employees, as well as continuing staff shortages and supply chain issues. For instance, we have been waiting for months for a shipment of 30-inch double-slide zippers. We have a huge pile of back orders of those zippers, and lots of customers, including many of you, I'm sure, were notified that the shipment was due in late July, so back orders would be shipped soon. Unfortunately, 20 boxes of the 120-box shipment were misplaced on arrival in LA, and customs will not clear any part of the order until the shipment is there in full. So we are still waiting for lots of zippers, and once they arrive here, we still need to package them. So if you are waiting for 30-inch zippers, please know we have not forgotten you or your order, and that we will work as quickly as we can to get your order filled as soon as they arrive. In the meantime, we ask for your continued patience. With everything going on here, we're kind of at the stage of putting out big fires right now, and unfortunately all those little fires are continuing to burn. So if you've emailed or called and not received a response, that's why. We're just a little bit over our heads right now, and it's going to take us some time to catch up. Please know, too, that changes to orders, which have always been a challenge for us, are even more complicated now. For instance, a customer emailed us over the weekend wanting to add a couple of small items to her order. We tried to add them, but basically we were prevented from shipping any part of the order once we did that. So we've got the programmers working on some refinements to the system, which should help, but until we get that figured out, if you forgot to add something to your order, your best bet is to just add those items to your next order. Again, we thank you for your patience and thank you for your continued support. Last week, we introduced our brand new ByAnnie's Premium Clear Vinyl. We talked about its features, showed a number of projects that we've used it in, and covered lots of tips for using it, from cutting and marking to sewing and laundering. We love using this premium weight vinyl for windows and pockets in purses, bags, bins, and more, and can't wait to see how you use it too. So be sure to send us pictures of the projects you've made. Again, if you missed last week's presentation or any of our prior episodes, remember that you can watch them on our Facebook page or on our YouTube channel. Or you can find them by going to ByAnnie.com/live, L-I-V-E, where you'll find the most recent episode, a drop-down list of all prior episodes, and a chat function. To thank everyone for joining us last week, we gave away a Fun Project Bags 2.0 kit, which included the pattern, soft and stable, vinyl, and zippers to make a set of all 4 sizes of project bags.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you.
Oh my God! Come on, everybody come up here.
Happy birthday to you.
I was not expecting this. Oh, you guys,
Where's
thank
the camera?
you.
I don't know which camera.
The camera's right there. So everybody has to parade past here on your way out. Thank you. Oh my gosh.
Yes, happy birthday.
So usually Usually when it's someone's birthday, we celebrate by everybody having lunch together. But with Facebook Live today, that was a little bit too much going on. So they brought me dessert, and I guess I get to make a wish, huh? Mm-hmm. All right. I don't want to say this one out loud because I don't want to jinx us. But after what I just said, I'm guessing you guys probably know what my wish is. So thank you. It's fun to have a birthday on Facebook Live. Never done that before. So all right, I'm going to set this right over here and enjoy that later. I guess you can't parade past here because I've got models everywhere. Thank you all.
Happy birthday, Annie.
Well, thank you. Thank you. Well, I did not expect the whole crew to come over and wish me a happy birthday and sing. Thank you. All right. Anyway, talking about giveaways. So last week we did a giveaway for everything to make all 4 sizes of project bags, and Susan Reed was the lucky winner. And she has confirmed her address and her package is on the way. So we can't wait to see your finished bags. Susan, happy stitching. All right, let's get started in today's program. So today we are going to talk about fabric with some very special guests from one of our very favorite fabric manufacturers. Oh, that's a lot of F's in there. FreeSpirit Fabrics. Woo. As you have no doubt noticed, we love sewing with FreeSpirit Fabrics. They're a fabulous partner, easy to work with, and their terrific variety of fabrics and designs really showcase our patterns beautifully. FreeSpirit has an amazing portfolio of designers from around the world, with many of the biggest names in the industry. Tula Pink, Kaffe Fassett, Anna Maria Horner, Tim Holtz, and some really exciting new designers too. FreeSpirit's high-quality fabrics are as diverse and as expressive as the artists themselves, and are perfect for anyone seeking inspiration. To help us learn what it means to be a free spirit, we are joined today by Nancy Jewell, the Managing Director of FreeSpirit Fabrics, Debbie Driscoll-Start, the Creative Director, and Sharon Thornton, the Sales and Marketing Inspiration Manager. Welcome, ladies, and thank you all for taking the time to be with us today. I'd like to start. We've got a little bit of a delay, so it's going to be hard for them to know when I'm done talking and me to know when they're going to talk. So we're going to try and make this work as well as we can. But I'm going to start by introducing Nancy Jewell, who's the Managing Director of FreeSpirit. Nancy has been in the sewing and fabric industry for over 30 years, working in marketing for the Singer Sewing Machine Company, managing publicity for SVP Worldwide, which produces Singer, Husqvarna Viking, and Pfaff sewing machines, and in marketing and business development for Coats North America and Westminster Fibers. As Managing Director, Nancy oversees the FreeSpirit brand and leads the sales and marketing efforts. Her vast experience in the industry is so very important in strategic planning and project management. I'd love to hear a bit about the history of FreeSpirit, as well as where it is today and where it's going. So Nancy, I'm going to turn the program over to you.
Wow, thank you, Annie. Boy, you make me sound really important.
You are.
Well, it's just been a fun journey. I love the sewing and quilting industry. It is just what inspires me, and it's my passion. So I am very lucky that I was able to take a hobby and turn it into a career. And I'm probably not, I sound really old. I started when I was 12. That's a joke that I tell everybody. But anyway, we're so excited to see our FreeSpirit Fabrics on Annie's patterns and her bags, because she just makes our fabric sing. And we hope that what she does with our fabric really inspires you, because that's what FreeSpirit's all about. It's about inspiring you to want to make something, and hopefully with ByAnnie patterns and FreeSpirit Fabrics. I thought I'd give you a little bit of history about FreeSpirit Fabrics, a little bit about how we got to where we are today. And if you have been sewing and quilting for a long time, you might know this story, but I'll try to keep it brief, and I'll try not to bore you. I'll try to entertain you along the way. So FreeSpirit was started in the year 2000 by Nan Harding, who was the owner of Fabric Traditions. And she was a smart enough woman to tap the resource of Donna Wilder, who is iconic in the sewing and quilting industry. She used to be the vice president of marketing at Fairfield Processing. And with Donna's help, they created a vision of a different kind of quilting company, one which looked at modern aesthetics, did things a little differently, kind of brightened up the feel and look of quilting fabric. And with that, Donna went out and she started looking for new artists that were surface design artists. And she brought to us, and you'll know some of these names, some of the best known artists in the industry, like Amy Butler and Anna Maria Horner, Heather Bailey. Yes, Heather Ross was once a FreeSpirit, just so that you know. Well, Donna built the company with 4 employees. We have 18 employees today, so with 4 employees, and built this profitable company that in 2007, Fabric Traditions sold to Coates and Clark. So enter Coates and Clark. Coates and Clark bought FreeSpirit because we were all about the independent retailer, and a lot of what Coates did was based on bigger retailers like Joann's and Michael's and AC Moore and Hobby Lobby. So Coates was looking to FreeSpirit to give them an inroad into that independent retailer marketplace, because the independent retailer is really what drives the industry. The independent retailer really sets the trend and tone for what's happening in sewing and quilting. So that was 2007. Let's fast forward to like 2016, and things at Coates were changing a little bit. They had a great initiative in the industrial area. They make thread for everything from tea bags to Major League Baseballs. They also got into fiber optic threads, and they started developing performance materials out of thread that was used in the auto industry. So the initiative was taken by Coates to try to change their business to more industrial based, and they started to divulge themselves, or divest themselves, I think that's the word I want, of the craft division. And it started with when they sold Rowan yarns, and then decided in 2018, February 12th, 2018, I'm going to remember that day for a long time, that they had decided that they were going to just shut down FreeSpirit. And I know the industry collectively took a big, like, what? FreeSpirit? Because that was home to Kaffe Fassett and Anna Maria Horner and Amy Butler and all these iconic designers who were really driving the industry towards something new and refreshing. And so everybody wondered what would happen. What would happen to FreeSpirit? Why would they do this? 1 week to the day after the announcement that FreeSpirit Fabrics was going to close, we had a visit from 2 guys from New York, from the Fortunoff family, who saw the value in what we do, saw the value in our designers, saw us as the leader in the industry, and wanted to keep that going. So it was the Fortunoff family, owners of Jaftex Corporation. Now, Jaftex Corporation is a 91-year-old, 4th generation family-owned business. 91 years old. That's a long time for a family-run business. So they came in and they kept most all of the staff from FreeSpirit. They kept all of the designers from FreeSpirit, and they brought us to where we are today. Under the Jaftex umbrella, we are a much nimbler company. We have a just do it kind of attitude that's really supported by the Fortunoffs, because, hey, they're going to try anything once. Why not? What do we have to lose? So the story begins really here, where we're now in our new office for 3 years. Oh my goodness, time flies. 3 years. And we've grown from 12 original FreeSpirits to 18 total FreeSpirits. And that's the history. So I hope I've told you some things that you weren't quite aware of, or maybe, like I said, you know the story. But beyond the history of Free Spirit, what really drives Free Spirit? What really drives us as a company? I mean, I wish I could talk to all of you, and I would ask you one simple question, like, what are the adjectives that you use to describe Free Spirit? Anyone? Annie, how would you
Colorful.
describe Free Spirit?
Colorful and vibrant. I guess that's 2 words.
That'll work.
And lots of
I
variety.
don't know if they can see any comments. Yeah. So there are values that drive Free Spirit. First, we're a designer-driven company. And I think you kind of know that just by how the story started. And we had like Amy Butler, Anna Maria Horner, Kaffe Fassett. The designers are still drive our design in terms of who we are. That's what has made Free Spirit, and that will continue to carry Free Spirit. So there are values that we live by, not just culturally within the company, but in everything that we do. And if I tell you those values, I'm sure you're going to go, oh, yes, I agree. Oh, yes, I agree. But the values are that we're designer driven, creative, inspiring, vivacious, imaginative, spirited, and colorful. Those are big values to live up to, aren't they? But it's everything that we live every day, and it's how we build our portfolio of designers from around the world. As Annie said, our fabrics are as, what was the word, how did she say it, are as, have as big as personality as our designers. And our designers have huge personalities in the industry, which is great. I mean, they are so well known, and they just add so much value to everything that they do. So our catalyst every single day is very simple. Projects that inspire, fabrics with personality. And I hope you see that when you look at quilts from Free Spirit or Annie's bags made out of Free Spirit fabrics. They're just so inspirational. It makes you want to go home and sew. This is the essence of what we strive towards every day, every aspect of our business, whether it's finding a new artist, the designs on a fabric, the quilts that we make, a product we develop, or a marketing program that we put together to share with retailers and with you. Inspirational fabrics with personality. So our tagline is the spirit to create, and none of this happens without a team. And we have a team of very passionate, dedicated, and creative individuals that we work together every day. And I get the distinct pleasure of introducing you to a couple of them. And I'll introduce you first to Debbie Stark, who is our creative director. And Debbie has been in the industry for a long time as well. She left for a little bit and went and did something else and came back. She actually worked for Donna Wilder at Fairfield, so she has good Donna stories and a lot of experience in working with Donna. And Debbie has one of the best jobs in the building. She gets to work very closely with all of our artists. She gets to talk to them about their art. She gets to help them change their art. She has a personal relationship with all of our designers. And I always say she has the toughest job in the building. But she really, she's a great creative director, and our artists will tell you that if you ask them. So Debbie has a prolific team that works with her that have really great color sensibilities and a design eye. And that team, and I hope I don't forget any of them, I just like to name them because I think it's important. You have Jenna and Nikita and Carly and Natalie and Alberto. Everybody loves Alberto, by the way, including us. And also, you're going to see today Sharon Thornton, who is our sales and marketing inspiration manager. So as a quilter or a maker, wouldn't you like to have a job where all you do all day is create quilts? Sounds like fun, doesn't it? But it's a lot of hard work. It's not as simple as that either. But Sharon is in charge of all the inspiration you see from FreeSpirit. She works collaboratively, I can't say that, wow, with a team of freelance writers and designers and tech editors. I mean, so many, I can't even begin. I would imagine it's over 100 people. She, along with Sarah Asby, Sarah's in the other room too, they design, redesign, create, dream, produce all the incredible projects and everything that creates a deep desire to want to sew with our fabric. That's what they do every day. So that's what I have to say today. I don't know if there's any questions or anything, but we're just so excited to be able to share our story with you, tell you a little bit about what drives what we do, and hope that you enjoy the rest of the show.
That's great, Nancy. Trevor did post a few words that people use to describe FreeSpirit, some that you didn't necessarily mention but fit right in. Innovative, breaking tradition, bright, fun, creative, exciting, modern, contemporary, and fresh. So we've got a little bit of a delay with questions coming in, but Trevor's going to gather those all together, and when we're all done with the presentation, we'll take a minute to ask any that aren't already answered by the end. So keep going. We're loving this.
All right, so Debbie. I think Debbie's next. Debbie's going to show you how all those adjectives are brought to life from art to fabric. So Deb.
Thank you, Nancy. Annie, thank you so much for having us today. And I think one adjective we forgot is large, very large. We love large scale patterns. And of course, none other than Anna Maria Horner is definitely known for some of her larger scale designs. And as Nancy mentioned, I have the distinct honor and pleasure of working with our portfolio of incredible artists from around the world. Matter of fact, this morning I was on a Zoom call with Keith and Brandon, and I know you're all jealous, and you should be, because it's so much fun. And we talk about tomatoes, not tomatoes, and we just have a blast. But it's such an honor and really a pleasure to work with everybody, from Anna Maria to Tula to Keith to some of our newer artists that we're going to talk about today, and I'm going to introduce you to. So we're going to talk about fabric a little bit and how we get it from the designer actually printed on fabric to you to do all your fun, beautiful, creative projects with. We're going to talk about and start with Bright Eyes by Anna Maria Horner. And we are so far down the road on this particular program because it has already shipped. We have to dispose of a lot of the developmental pieces throughout the process. So I'm really this is a very condensed presentation. We're going to show you how we start. Once Anna Maria downloads her digital art, she starts and does things by hand, but also creates on an iPad or her Mac. She does all the art, she creates the digital files, she downloads the digital files to us, and then we do all the print work. We print everything out. We go back and forth with Anna Maria on scale and on color. And then once we have an approval for the collection, we move forward and we send it to our mills. And we primarily work with mills in Korea. This particular program, Bright Eyes, was printed in Korea on 60 squares, beautiful quilting cotton. And I'm going to jump right in and just sort of show you what happens when we take what we consider our color standard. So we print every single design out on paper. We calibrate it so the color is correct to the digital files. We upload the digital files to the Korean print mill. We print all of the color standards and we send them a package. Then we communicate back and forth with what we call strike-offs. And I don't have any strike-offs to share with this collection, but I have to tell you, we're incredibly particular. And sometimes we go as far as 3, 4, even 5 rounds of strike-offs. Prefer not to do that. It's best when you have 2 strike-offs and move on. But with this particular line, this is Bright Eyes. This is the pattern Bossy. And so you'll see the original piece of color standard we sent to the mill. And then we go back and forth with the mill. We approved a strike off that matched this as close as we knew we could get based on color penetration on fabric, how colors lay together and sit and complement each other. So you can see a lot of the colors are absolutely dead on. And then we have to understand that there's going to be a little bit of give and take on some of the others. The other important thing to think about is we do go back and forth with some of our designers. So after we do our work here internally, and my team is outstanding, as Nancy has said, we go back and forth with the designers so that they can give us their input. And while this may have been the initial color standard, you'll see that this is probably a little duller, a little more grounded. We popped the colors on Bossy to really get that particular flower to pop off the field of daisies. So this became our top of production sample, which we made sure matched our original strike off. We approved it with the mill, and then production starts to ship. So that's Bossy. And then we have, I have to cheat, Brimming. And Brimming is another one of those gorgeous large scale florals. And you'll see there is definitely a variation between paper and fabric, but again, we understand the limitations of color and how color is affected throughout the process during the printing process and the finishing process, and some colors dull down. So you'll see the ground on this is not necessarily as deep and dark, but we approved it because when we laid out the entire collection, we felt like this brighter, clearer color was definitely more exciting and vibrant and added to the collection. But again, we'll take a look and you can see just how close some of the other colors really do hit the mark. So we're going to move on to the next. Here it is in a second colorway. Pine. And then we did it in a third colorway in cream. In this particular design, we kept the scale the same across all three colorways. We often play with scale too, so we talk about going back and forth with the designers. Once they send in their original art, we print it all out and we start playing with scale. Our designers love big, bold, beautiful scale and big, bold, beautiful flowers, but sometimes we have to think about how is the end user, how is the maker really going to use that design? So oftentimes, the scale might come in large, like our first design we looked at, Bossy. We say, okay, that's fantastic. And we love the more graphic, cleaner ground design of Bossy. But we want to change the scale. So these may have initially been submitted in the same scale, but we go back and forth, Anna Marie and I, and we say, well, maybe we should look at making that one larger and that one smaller. And how are we going to use it? And what does the inspiration piece look like? So we know if we can fussy cut a particular design and what that might look like. Or do we want to utilize more of the background? So in this particular instance, we did one scale for the large Bossy, and then we did the smaller scale here. Again, we think it's really important within a collection to make sure we have something that's really graphic and geometric. So we have this particular pattern, which is gorgeous. And you'll see she's definitely softened it by adding all these great little flowers and the starburst. But you've got this very graphic plaid almost running in the background. And that was Cosmos. And there's a second colorway of Cosmos called Ocean. And then we've got this sweet little tiny design, which is very unusual, but a great little mixer piece that we find to be so useful, whether you're making bindings or borders or sashing. And it's just enough that it's more tonal, so it adds a great as a great background piece. Sorry, I'm having a really hard time. But it's super sweet, really small, but it picks up the same motifs. You'll see all the circular motion in these flowers across the collection. So really beautiful. So we've got that available in the magenta and the jade colorway. And again, we talk about bold, graphic. Here is a great design, which is introducing a geometric shape, but again, softening it with the beautiful little rose. And you'll see, this color is really hot and poppy. We grounded it out a little bit. We thought it was prettier when it was a little softer, certainly more livable, more home decor friendly. So we just thought this was a beautiful piece. almost emulating a special stitch design here too, outlining the motifs. That's the coral colorway. And then we've got this great little plaid, again, talking about the geometrics. And you'll see as we've moved through the collection, the variation in scale. We had teeny tiny from that little dot print to this really beautiful checkerboard. That's fresh. And we have it available in sweet. And then we have these great little sunflower-like designs. Again, creating almost a dot, but being more exciting and interesting than a dot. We've got the blue colorway and the gold colorway. And see how that yellow just pops off the fabric? It's really beautiful. And moving on from there, here's another piece that to me is a very iconic Anna Maria Horner piece. It's just so rich and full of texture and pattern and design, from these beautiful large dots to something more intricate to this little diamond design with almost what I'm going to call a rainbow in there without the color. And then you've got this great little scalloped piece. You have this incredible little floral. So you're getting a lot of different mini prints within the same design or the same SKU. Really, really cute. It's available on the soft blue called Breakfast, and it's available on cream called Lunch. And then last but not least, this is one of my favorite patterns. So this is this goes back to the conversation about large, big, large scale. So this is a design that Anna Maria submitted, and it's absolutely gorgeous. If we shrunk this down, we would lose so much of the detail, and we would lose that opportunity to cut the whole piece and applique it as a medallion sort of idea, or cut apart the individual birds and get something else very interesting and unique. So we leave scale for the most part with Anna Maria alone, because you have to think about it beyond just quilting, whether Annie's making bags or somebody's making a skirt, or, you know, there are so many multiple uses, and this cotton is so beautiful, it works well in any of your projects. And then here you can see what the actual production. Again, here's a great instance where this was what we submitted to the mill. It went through several iterations, several strike-offs, and we decided to pop some of the colors so we could pick up some of the brighter accents that were happening here. So again, we made the yellow in the birds so much happier and poppier than what the original printout was. We popped this more of a rusty, sort of mustardy brown color to a much clearer, cleaner orange. We changed the purple dots more to a magenta, just so that everything really pops off the fabric. Absolutely a beautiful collection, and you can just see how well it plays together. I'm trying to pull pieces, but these are all stapled together, so I do apologize. Just gorgeous. And I know that Sharon is going to share with us some of the projects that were made, as well as Annie.
Yes.
So I am going to turn it over.
Turn it over to us?
Yes.
Okay, well, you can't see me because I'm behind the camera, but I am in here also with Nancy and with Sarah. So welcome, everybody. Annie, thank you for having us. Oh, and happy birthday.
Happy birthday. Oh, thank you.
Sorry. Happy birthday, Annie. So we'd like to show you, oh, I can't turn my camera this way, sorry. So in the line that Debbie just showed, The Bright Eyes by Anna Maria Horner, there's currently a program that's going on. It's called the Visions Quilt Club. And I have to show it to you this way, unfortunately, not the real quilt, because our samples are out, they're traveling. They're at multiple shops, they've been at trade shows, they're out there, they're very busy. This is a program that's currently in the making, and it's happening right now. So if you're interested in joining up, contact your local quilt shop and see if they still have the Visions fabric for Bright Eyes. And you could also join into the group, maybe a little late, but you could get caught up. I'd like to show you these pillows that are here on this chair. These pillows are what we call, they're made from the quilter's lace from the Visions quilt. So when you have the quilter's lace, when you have leftover scraps, what are you going to do with that? Well, we're going to show you what you're going to do with that. There's a beautiful quilt here. This is Anna Maria's pattern. I'm going to look at my notes. Hold on. Folk dance. So this is called Folk Dance, this quilt right here. And this is made from the scraps that'll be left over from, or the quilter's lace. Let's not call them scraps. They're quilter's lace. Much better terminology. And then you could also make these pillows that are here. So this pillow is made from one of the blocks in the quilt. And then this one is as well. And then this other one is a pattern from Anna Maria that she has for, it's called the Flower Patch pattern, Anna Maria's Flower Patch pattern. And then lo and behold, Annie, we have some clam up bags right here. And they are all fussy cut so adorably. And Cindy Luby made all of these for us. She did a beautiful job. So as you can see on this pillow, and I just like to go back to this, I didn't point it out. There's a lot of handwork on this one, which is really nice. You can see all the, she did some stitching in there, she did some applique. So there's machine work as well as the applique on that. And then the quilt itself is just all pieced. I'm getting really close here so you can see the work, and you can see all the beautiful designs that Debbie already showed us in the collection, and you can see them all in use. So yes, and then there's the back of the quilt. Just beautiful, and the poppy, and you can see how nice that looks in the back of the quilt. The scale is just beautiful for that. And then we're going to show you one other quilt over here. Debbie didn't talk about this one, but we're giving you a peek at this one. This is the Made My Day quilt. I'm going to try and back up a little bit. This is also Anna Maria Horner, and this quilt is 84 by 84. It uses a total of 21 yards of fabric. And then I want to show you the backing fabric in a second, but I just want you to see how gorgeous these fabrics are and how nicely Anna designs her fabrics that Debbie has shown you with the bright eyes. But this is the other collection here, and this delivers in December of 2021. See all these gorgeous prints in here. This is all pieced. There's no applique in this one. I think this is just a gorgeous quilt. This was designed by Anna Maria Horner. And she does who better than Anna to design a quilt made so beautifully with her fabrics. And then the back of the quilt, this is a 108-inch backing. And you can see the scale on that is very large, but it's perfect for the back of a quilt. It is directional. And I believe these are dahlias. Is that right, Debbie? Do you remember? I don't know what. Delphiniums. Okay, I got the D right, but not the. I was close.
Doesn't matter.
Right. And so for the back of this quilt, there's a total of 3 yards of fabric, of 108-inch fabric that would be needed to put that quilt together. So I just wanted to show you, you know, these inspirational pieces and how beautiful you can see where Debbie is showing you how hard her team has worked on all the designs, and that how it comes together, how everything comes together in the end. So that's our inspiration from our end. Annie, do you have any beautiful bags from Anna Maria's that you'd like to show us?
I do. I have several from Anna Maria, and like you, we love the large scale prints, but we love that she also puts in some smaller scale and some medium scale, and we use them all. So I'm going to start by showing, actually not that one. What happened to Switchback? I am missing a bag that I planned to show. Oh, it's because it's on the table. I needed it for set decoration. So this we loved so much that it became the cover of the pattern. And this is our pattern called Switchback. It's a satchel style bag that you can wear either over the shoulder or crossbody, or you can pull down on the handles and carry it as a backpack. So it makes it really easy to do it. It's got lots of pockets inside and out, and we've designed it to have a color block design. So we use one main fabric, and we picked one of those more medium scale ones that, in our mind, this kind of reads as a solid for the main fabric, and then two of the really eye-popping ones to color block for the flap, the back of the bag, and the front pocket. So we had a lot of fun fussy cutting her big poppy to go on the inside of the flap when you open it. And we just really, really loved this fabric. So that's switchback. And then we made our A Place for Everything bag. This is one of our very most popular patterns, and we're going to show it today in a variety of fabrics. Actually, on the table, I have 3 made with Anna Maria fabrics. So this is a brand new one that's going to be coming out, I think, later this year. This one's going to be hitting stores soon, and I think Bright Eyes is probably in stores now. I'm not sure. It's kind of like Tula says. She always has to think who's asking the question about which fabric to show. So we try to be really careful and not show fabrics until it's time. But these are really fun to work with. So, and it's fun to see how the look of a bag can change depending on what fabric you use. So this is just a really functional bag that you can use to carry sewing gear, tools and supplies, tech gear, first aid and medical supplies. There's just lots and lots of ways that you can use it. And it's got handles that you can carry it, as well as an adjustable detachable strap that hooks on to tabs on each side, and pockets on the outside, a zippered pocket in front, a slip pocket in back, and then inside on the bag, a zippered mesh pocket on one side and a slip pocket on the other. But the real beauty of this bag is in these removable quilted pages that are inside that give you even more pockets. So they can fasten in with a strap, so you can take them out and add things to them, leave some at home if you don't need them all. But they've got pockets in a variety of styles. So, and what's really great is pockets on both sides. So you can do a slip pocket on the back or a zippered pocket. And we recommend, these are our style 1, so they go all the way from top to bottom. And then on the other side, you can do either style 2 pockets, which have 2 zippered pockets, style 3 pockets, which have 3, and any of those pockets can have divisions added to them as well. The pattern includes instructions for making those pockets either out of vinyl or mesh, and we usually do a variety of those. I have found that if I use mesh on one side, I usually like to do vinyl on the other side, but you can mix it up however you want. The nice thing about vinyl is it gives you really great visibility and security of contents. You know that nothing's going to go through holes that are in there, and it also gives you a sturdy structure. Mesh, on the other hand, still gives you visibility, but it adds some color, a little bit of stretch, and it adds no bulk to the project. So if you're thinking about making one of these, think about what you want to carry in it, then decide which material you'll make your pockets out of, and also think about what you want to put in it and plan your pockets accordingly. We've got another really fun set of bags that we made using Bright Eyes, and these were perfect for showcasing Anna Maria's larger scale designs. So this pattern is called Pocket Packers, and it's 4 different bags, for all the same size but different styles of pockets. So you can do 1 pocket, 2 pockets, 3 pockets, or 4 pockets, and again divide them however you want. These are ideal for carrying in a suitcase. 2 of them next to each other fit really well in most large suitcases. If you've got a smaller carry-on, you just turn them sideways. And they've got 2 different varieties of handles, short or long for carrying, and each one of them has on the back a full height mesh pocket. So lots and lots of ways to use those bags. And what you might find interesting here is that we did just 2 sets of quilted fabric. So on here we used the bowls on the front, on here the back, and then we just alternated those on the back. So we've got the birds behind on this one and the birds in front on that one, and then this one again is opposite sides. So we just switched the fabrics over, and it gave us 4 different looks out of just 2 sets of fabric. Another one that we made that we loved Anna Maria's big poppies for is our set of double zip gear bags. These bags come in 3 sizes, and so we kind of varied the scale a little bit. Even though these birds were a really large scale, they translated really nicely to the smaller bag. We fussy cut them so that we've got the birds in each section, even on the bottom. And these are so ideal for sewing supplies, toiletries, tech gear, whatever you want to take. They've got both mesh and quilted fabric zippered pockets on the outside, and on the inside we've got mesh pockets bound with fold-over elastic on each side. So these are really great for using leftover quilted fabric. We basically took the fabric that was left after we got all those other projects made and were able to cut the bags out of these. You'll notice that this calls for the same main fabric here. We didn't have enough, so we substituted fabrics for some of the parts to make them work. But that is what we've made with Bright Eyes, and it was really fun to do. So back to you guys.
Annie, thank you for showing all those bags. You did a great job with using the Bright Eyes and the other question. Made by Day.
Made my day, and Love Always too is here.
Thank you. All right, so we have Debbie on now. Debbie, start back with us.
Thank you, Sharon, and thank you, Annie. Your bags are always fantastic, and I think it just really shows how the small, medium, large prints work for a variety of different projects. So thank you for reinforcing that whole concept. From there, we're going to talk about Valori Wells. I can't not talk about Val. Val and I go way back, way back. She was still a kid, just a child. And I worked with her first when I was at another company. She designed fabric. She actually designed her first fabric collection for me at a company called Quilters Only. And that was many moons ago. So it's been great to reconnect with Val, to have Valori as part of our portfolio of artists. She's so super talented. She travels around the world. As you know, she also owns a quilt shop. She puts on the beautiful Sisters Outdoor Quilt Show every year. She is one very busy lady and a mother of 3, so she's just amazing. What I wanted to talk to you about with Enchanted shipped to stores around June-ish, so you should be out looking for Enchanted. And Val travels the world, and she spends a lot of time in Morocco. And she, as long as I've known her, is an incredible photographer, and she loves to create block printing. She gets very inspired by her surroundings, and everything that she immerses herself into in Morocco really brings to life into her fabrics. So in this particular piece, this was the inspiration piece she created behind Enchanted. So she cut blocks for each and every motif you see in this collection. And for those of you that are familiar with Val, she absolutely adores indigo. So she started with doing this as a indigo, blue and white collection. So you can even see, I don't know how close you can get, Sharon, but you can see the ink and dye she used to really create that beautiful camel, all of the flying birds, the intricacy of this beautiful flower with all the flowers behind it, and then the background pieces. So all the gradations of blue that layer on to create this piece was really the inspiration behind Enchanted. And while we wanted to do blue and white, we felt like there was an opportunity. And of course, there were other pieces to this collection that she submitted. But when she worked with the collection, she decided it needed to be a little more multicolored. So from this particular piece, we created the master SKU, which unfortunately, again, I only have a small piece because this is what's considered our top of production sample. And so this is the piece we created, and you can see how we changed the scale, obviously. And you can see these particular flowers, what we've done to create a multicolored piece within the blocking. We've got this great background of the chevron. You've got the intricate detail of this filigree star, and the star is found on the master inspiration piece, but much larger. Again, we reduced the scale. We decided everyone loves birds. It's very peaceful. It's very inspirational. So we've got the birds flying throughout, and then these beautiful olive leaves or olive branches. So just a really beautiful, colorful, yet grounded collection. When she was in Morocco, she was very much inspired by the women there. And so she created blocks that really brought together the mantra of these women's of these women. Beautiful, fearless, silly, loved, strong, fun, creative. And she created each hand block and created the layout for this, digitized it, sent us and downloaded the files, and then sent us a package of all of the color standards to match to it. We decided that that was such a strong piece that we recreated it in a very, very smart, very linear design, pink on pink. What better way to emulate and really support women and everything that we stand for by creating this beautiful piece of cloth. Again, we went back and she created the next piece, which is a beautiful multicolor with definitely a much softer, more neutral background. You can see the filigree work in this beautiful diamond design that sits in the background. And then she layers on all the other hand blocking on top, the birds, this beautiful medallion, the sort of floral compass, and then she threw in words throughout just to bring the collection together. We played with pink again, bringing together that filigree diamond, these beautiful little pinwheels, again the olive branches and the beautiful birds. And then the rest of the collection, you can just see how beautiful it works back and forth. So here we talked about the beige background with this filigree design. We did the filigree design in white on a beige background, again, to just bring some serenity and peace to the collection and ground it. And then there's the beautiful orange that pulls the orange from the masterpiece we looked at first to this beautiful piece, the beautiful pinks. And I'm sure Annie is going to show us all kinds of wonderful ways to use this particular collection. You've got a great little dot pattern. Again, it's not a typical dot. She hand blocked each one of those dots to create this fabric. And you'll notice what I call noise around the dots. That is really picking up the noise or the elements that are on the block as she hand prints it down. We've got the great chevron. You've got this very tile-like motif in two different scales. You've got the multicolor. And then you've got this great green and blue colorway. And then again, we brought together the filigree blue on blue with some of the other medallions and pieces you saw throughout the collection. So really beautiful, an incredibly inspiring collection. And I just think it makes beautiful quilts, projects, obviously bags by Annie, and garments. So I'm going to turn it over to Annie, or no, I'm going to turn it over to Annie to talk about bags.
Thank you. And, you know, Sharon had said she might have a quilt to show, but realized they're all out at trunk shows, and we kind of were facing the same thing. So we made a lot of projects with Enchanted, but only have 3 things here to show. But I think they're going to be perfect for you to get an idea of how this fabric works in small projects like these. So the first one I want to show you is one of my very favorite fabrics, patterns. This is a pattern called Catch-All Caddy. It makes a great little organizer for storing your tools. And that awesome star filigree that went right down the middle of that fabric, we used down the middle of this. You kind of lose it over here because a pocket covers it up. But we also did the same thing on one of our Place for Everything bags and centered it on there. So that made it really fun. The bag has padded handles, so it makes it easy to carry. Pockets all the way around the outside. And then on the inside, some expanding dividers that let you put larger things in it. I really love these. They're not pockets. They're open at the bottom, so I can take something as big as a bottle of water and put it inside, and I'm not going to worry about it tipping over. And we just have to take a minute because I have another visitor who's shown up in here, and it's my grandson who's coming to wish me happy birthday. Come here. He was a present for me, but come here and say hello to everybody. So this is Liam. Can people see you? Who had his meet the teacher day at school today and starts school tomorrow. And he's learning to sew, and he's a handful. Are you going to crawl up on the table? I'm not sure that's a good idea. Say hello to everybody. Okay. Can you tell them how old you are? 6. And he just came back. He just came back from a month in Spain where he spent most every day in the swimming pool. So he's little nut brown. He and I swam yesterday in his pool, and I got a little sunburn on my arm. So
No.
I need to be like you. All right, buddy. I got to get back to work. See you later. Thank you for coming. All right. He's a sweetheart. I love him. All right, so this is another little sister to Catch All Caddy. One thing that I forgot to mention on here is the pattern is written to use 3 fabrics, but we love to mix things up and add more, so we used a different fabric on the inside, and that just adds a lot more interest. This made the very same way, different fabrics, and again, we added extras on the inside. We really loved that affirmations fabric that Val designed and thought it would be perfect for our pattern called Travel Essentials, which includes a hanging cosmetics bag. And so, you know, you open that up, you've got your makeup in here, and you've got words telling you you're beautiful, you're capable, all those things. And this is great for when you travel. So you've got a bag to put your makeup and toiletries in, and then a hot tools case to put your flat iron or your curling iron. And this pattern has a mesh pocket, a couple of vinyl pockets, and then a nice deep pocket at the bottom. One thing that I should mention, this is actually a pattern that we were planning to release this fall, but it might be later, an update to our original pattern. So it's got a few minor changes, such as the addition of a pocket on the outside. Again, it won't be available for a while, but the current version is on our website, and we've made lots and lots of bags using that one. So if you don't want to wait for the new one, you'll have great results making that one too. The new one will have an add-on video to go with it, plus a lot of updates to the instructions to our newest style and better illustrations. So if you don't already get our email newsletter, make sure you sign up for that so you know when it's ready. So thank you again for this beautiful fabric. We had so much fun sewing with it.
Showing us. And we just want to let everybody know that the fabric for Enchanted is in the local quilt shops now. So if you don't have any and you'd like to get some, be sure to get in touch with your local quilt shop. All right, so we are back here with Debbie Stark. She has some more to show us.
So I have a little sneak peek of something I want you to keep your eyes open for in your local quilt shop. And it is beautiful, hand-stitched by beautiful, incredible artisans in a special region of India. And it's called Kaffe by Valori Wells. And what we did was we took the inspiration from all of her indigo designs and created running yardage, working with artisans in India to print the fabric. So these are all pieced blocks, and then they're hand stitched by some incredible, talented people. Again, empowering women and giving them an opportunity to use their craft to help support their families. So it is just gorgeous. You'll notice it's a very simple block print, but it's the Kaffe stitch throughout that makes it so unique and interesting. And honestly, they would work beautifully with bags by Annie. You could just cut off a couple of yards and create a table runner with no additional sewing. You can bind them to make great placemats. You can make an incredible, gorgeous jacket out of it as well. And I have to say, this particular kind of artisan creation has been all over at retail lately. I know I saw a pair of bell-bottom pants made out of it in a high-end store recently, and a really cute little sleeveless vest jacket. So keep your eyes out, because all of this available in 4 different colorways. We've got the beautiful raspberries, we've got a very graphic black, white, and gray, and we've got the multicolored. And some of these designs you'll remember from Murmur and some of her recent past collections. So that's a sneak peek, and I want you all to be on the lookout at your local fabric store. In the fall.
Oh, this is shipping in the fall. And as Debbie said, you know, you could make table runners, or you could make a shawl out of this. You could make a jacket. You could make draperies if your home or, you know, a daughter's room was, you know, if that was a great idea for that particular room, if it felt like it was the right vibe. You could add it to denim jackets. You could add it to denim pants. You could make it a
Make a tote bag. I mean, you can do so many things. And two of the creations are made with blocks, perfect squares. I think they're 6-inch squares. The other two, the black and white and the berry, are made out of rectangles. So I think that's kind of interesting too. Just you can see how the rectangle and it changes direction. Probably easier to see in this colorway.
Yeah.
So
what's nice about this too is that this edge is finished.
yes.
So we've got this finished edge right here. Oh, wait, that's me with the camera. Sorry, everybody.
Operator error.
Right. And you can see that both edges are finished, which makes it really nice. So it could be a really quick project. If you were going to do even a throw blanket, you could just buy the yardage and you could just hem up the end. You could add some tassels or fringe to it if you wanted to, or not. You could just finish it off. It'd be a great gift, or just a quick project. So there's all types of things that you can do with this Kaffe cloth. And Debbie, we are psyched that you and your team and Val Wells worked on this.
We are so excited, and no better person to do it with than Valori. Between her block printing, her travels to Morocco and faraway places, and just it really lent itself for her to do it, because India is known for block printing, and they're known for beautiful Kaffe cloths, and they're known for hand stitching. So I think it's just a beautiful partnership between all of us, and I can't say it's been just a pleasure working with this particular mill to create the collection. So really beautiful,
really
great fabric, has a great drape to it. Lots you can do with it.
Yes.
So that's a sneak peek. We probably should have done that.
Lots of creative opportunities, ladies. Oh, all right. So Debbie's going to show us
We are going to
something else
move on
now.
to someone else, a brand new artist who has come to us. His name is Reue, and I always love when we can introduce a male artist because they have such a unique perspective on designing and creating fabric. And William is a renowned architect in New York City, and he has created some of the most outstanding, beautiful buildings and places. And I really encourage you to Google William Reue, R-E-U-E. He is just fantastic. And we took his perspective, and he decided, he's got 4 sisters, and he and his sister decided to take up quilting about 4 years ago. And they both fell in love with it. They quilt together. They make very graphic, beautiful quilts, mostly out of solids, but he got so entrenched so quickly and fell in love with what Tula does and the method behind her madness. He reached out and contacted us about wanting to create a collection of fabrics. And so this is his first collection. It's called Madison 1. The inspiration behind it was the building 1 Madison Avenue. And it's all about the reflection of the windows and the building and the lights. And it's just super contemporary. It's super clean. It's really beautiful. And most importantly, it's pretty gender neutral. How many times have you all tried to make something for a spouse or a significant other or a nephew or your godson or your son or your father, and you haven't been able to find the right fabrics? Well, you should be looking for Tim Holtz, but that's okay. In case you're not and you want something a little more colorful, you've got it here with Madison 1. So this is the original piece of the printout. We went out, and I will say, we went back and forth with William for a really long time because he had so many ideas and so many pieces of inspiration, and he was building such a huge collection. We had to really narrow it down. We had to make some adjustments. We had to think about what colors work and don't work. So we went back and forth, and we created what we considered a tight collection. We decided to digitally print it because it seemed as though most of the SKUs were endless colors. When we talk about printing fabric, we do have a maximum number of colors we have to use when we print traditionally. This is digitally printed, so it's endless color and endless repeat. We're just constrained by the width of the goods. And I will say that we do print our digital fabrics overseas. They are not printed in Korea. But they're super beautiful, same high quality 60 square quilting cloth. So this was the first strike off we received. And you'll see just really how close the colors are to this particular one. And what's interesting about digital printing is because you don't do it in the same way as layered files and individual screens for each color, you have to make global adjustments on the fabric and on the colors. So we can't just say, okay, that color is the first screen and it's going to be light green. You can't separate those when you digitally print. It's very much like using your printer in the house. So we have to make global adjustments and we go back and forth quite often, but this is just beautiful. And I would say right out of the gate, we got a great piece of cloth. So that's the strike off we approved. And then we get our first top of production piece. And again, seamless. You think it's this cut from the same piece of cloth. And this was printed several months later, probably.
Really beautiful.
So really beautiful, beautiful stripe. It's very graphic. The next piece is, again, all about color. It's about color and movement and graphic and shapes. So you've got this particular piece, which is called Matchbook. And here is our strike off. So here's the strike off. I'm still backwards, see? And we've decided to pop the color a little more here, but for the most part, all of the colors are pretty close. Some of the blues in here we couldn't get quite as light, but really, really beautiful. So that is our approved strike off. And then here is our production sample. And I'm back upside down. So there you go. Again, you can see it's just about color. And I think what's interesting is he creates these incredible graphic quilts, and Sharon will share with you one of them. There are also some inspiration quilts on our website that you can take a look at. And here are the two pieces. We've got our strike off, which was approved. And here we're playing with color again. I'm just trying to, sometimes it's hard.
Exactly the same.
It looks exactly, I mean, it's just amazing, Annie. His work is really, really beautiful. And so when you think about what William likes to do, he cuts, you know, when he cuts his triangle, he can get so much movement and so much color within that, or his squares, or whatever he tends to do. He really likes to take like a bear paw design and create quilts, and they're just so modern. It's such a modern take on a very traditional pattern or a log cabin. Really, really beautiful. Very architectural, you might say. Here's another piece. Look at these beautiful blues and greens and aquas. So here is our approved strike off. Again, the collection name is Madison 1. And here is production. Again, just beautiful.
This is shipping soon to the local quilt shops.
It hasn't shipped yet. It's shipping soon. This is one of my favorite. This is called Intersection, and it has to do with that major building at Madison 1. This one we pumped up the color. We wanted to make sure that what we had was really rich and vibrant. And so in order to capture some of these more magical pops of color, we had to intensify the blues that created the intersection, but absolutely beautiful. Look at this. I mean, it just works so beautifully together. Just pick things up and pull them around. Just beautiful. Whether, you know, you can pick your pop of red there, you've got this, you can bring in your blue greens. Really beautiful. And then we talk about circles. He loves circles and intersections and marbleized circles. So we've got, here we have Payette in purple. There's our production piece. Here was our approved sample. Spot on. We also created this great little architectural design. It's called Retrix. We did it in this beautiful color palette. We did it in a more neutral color palette. Changing scales, so we've got small, medium, and then we did a large scale in the beautiful blues. I mean, look at that.
Very nice.
And then, of course, because we always want to pop a color when we're creating our quilts, we have this really beautiful, almost basket weave. in this gorgeous yellow, golden yellow, really rich, super saturated, incredibly beautiful. You can see how it just picks up the yellows and the reds. I mean, it's just stunning. And there's several other pieces to the collection. I could go on, but super beautiful. It's called Madison 1 by William Reue. I really encourage you to check him out on our website and Google him because he is incredible, super interesting, and is back in New York City, I'm glad to say. He had taken a little sabbatical. He visited with his sister in Austin, Texas, spent some time quilting there, ultimately ended up teaching in Oklahoma at the university, and has since moved back to New York. So he is back designing buildings, I'm happy to say. But in his spare time, his passion and his love right now is really quilting and quilting fabrics and color and creating these incredible stories. Bright, bold, and beautiful.
Well, we're happy to have him at FreeSpirit Fabrics. Get to see all the beautiful fabrics that Debbie just showed us in this quilt. So this is called the Factory. And it's the Madison 1, William Reue, as Debbie just said. And this is a 68 by 74. I can't turn the camera, sorry. I'm a horizontal view, and I know I need the vertical. So this is called the Factory. William designed this himself, and we translated it into quilters language. This is on our website if you're interested in getting the pattern. It is 9 yards of fabric. And Annie does have some bags to show in this, so we will turn this over to Annie so we can see what she did. But as you can see before we do that, that the fabrics just sing in this quilt. And this is all pieced, and you can see how they all play off of one another and just look so beautiful in this quilt. And Debbie and her team did a great job, well, of course, with William. But beautiful quilt. I'm going to get a little closer. Annie, whenever you're ready, we can switch over to see your bags.
All right, I'm ready. I was so excited to hear the background of William. That does not surprise me in the least that he's an architect, because these fabrics are just that makes that so obvious. We fell absolutely head over heels in love with this fabric, and I think we've used almost every inch of fabric that you sent us. We really liked the bold colors, the geometric designs, and I totally agree that these would be great for men as well as women. So the first bag that we made is our A Place for Everything. I think you can see, compared to the ones we made with Anna Maria, a much different look. And we picked his larger scale geometric for the outside. On the inside, we did a lighter one with a smaller scale for the pockets and or pages. We wanted to be able to have everything that you put in those pockets to show up, so using a lighter, smaller scaled fabric worked for that. And then we picked that awesome stripe to use for the bindings. And one thing you may notice, we cut the border and the bindings on the pockets on the cross grain, but we always do our bindings on the outside on the bias, and that gives it a more diagonal look. And so in this case, we also decided to cut our handles and straps, which normally we would do on the cross grind, but we set these also on the bias, and it just makes them really look fun. We also, once we had that bias made, we kind of fussy cut it so that we got the more rusty sections on the handles front and back. They kind of matched, and we did a variety on the outside of the bag, but then when we got to the inside of the pages, we did those with the more turquoisey parts of the binding. When we first started this, we debated about using a lot of different colors for the zippers, but then decided there was enough going on, and the turquoise zippers just kind of tied everything together and toned it down, and then we used a natural mesh on the inside, so that really let the colors of the fabric show through. So that's one of my very favorite A Place for Everything that I've made. That one may become mine when we decide to retire it. Then we decided that we needed to do some travel bags, and so the first one we did was our Get Out of Town 2 bag. This makes a small duffel style bag that has lots of pockets. It's got a slip zip pocket on front, a slip pocket on back, slip pockets on each side, and then slip pockets on each side on the inside. So we did a fun circular design for the body of the bag and a more geometric for the handles and straps. So this one has handles or an adjustable carrying strap that you can use. And then we used the leftover stripes to make the stabilizer sleeve and the pocket that goes on the inside. And that just is a great bag that I think any guy or gal would be happy to carry. And then we also made our travel duffel using the larger print, along with that. You said that diamond shaped one came in different scales, so we used the larger one since this is such a big bag. And this bag is made very much the same way as Get It Out of Town, but because it's larger, we can add some more pockets. So this has pockets on each side that are zippered, a slip pocket in the center, and then on the back we're able to add a trolley sleeve so you can hook it over the handles on your rolling luggage. And we really loved that yellow basket weave for the handles on this and the straps and the outside bindings. But then when we did the inside, we decided to make this bag a little bit more monochromatic. So I'm going to turn it inside out so you can see. And we used that beautiful green to do the bindings. And come on, bag. This is a little bit big to do that. But you can see you could get a whole nother look by making a bag with that fabric on the outside and using that pretty green as your coordinate. So again, a very different look and just a gorgeous bag. So we really can't wait to see what he has coming next, because this was such a fun project to work with.
That's awesome, Annie. You guys did a great job with all those bags. You can tell that you had fun. You coordinated them all so nicely together.
We had a good time. And I remember when you sent us this, you were kind of low with what you had, so we were really pleased with what we were able to make, because usually we ask for 2 yards of each, and some of these we only got 1.25 yards, and it was just amazing how everything worked out just to be the right amount. I mean, we really had very little left over.
Well, it shows how carefully you can engineer a bag, is what it shows.
There's a will, there's a way.
Right.
We don't
when there's
waste
a will, there's
much.
a way. Well, you did a great job. We love those bags. Now, Annie, I just want to ask you before we keep going, do you want us to keep going? Because I know that we're at an hour. Are we still good?
Let me ask the guys, what do you guys think? Are we running into trouble on Facebook restrictions on length? Because we're about 1 hour and 20 minutes.
There's no restriction. People are still watching.
People are still watching, and we're still here, so yeah, let's keep going.
Well, tell them, right, tell them to send hearts. They see a heart,
Yeah.
tell them to send hearts if they want us to keep going.
Yes, let us know what you
So
think. I'm enjoying it. I'm learning lots, so
Well,
this
we
is my
are
birthday
too.
present.
Oh. All right, well, then we'll keep going. This is an easy birthday present.
Well, maybe
Sounds
we'll
good.
send you more William.
Yes, we'll send you more William Reue. So
Sounds great.
I want to talk about this quilt. Yeah, so this quilt's beautiful. This is a quilt. It's called Exploding Heart. Slice of Pie designed this, and this is made with a Kaffe Fassett, all Kaffe Fassett fabrics, and this is a Kaffe Fassett fat quarter in the parakeet colorway. And if you look really closely, I'm going to try and not make myself dizzy as I come in. That's jumble. I believe it's magenta and jumble. And you need 4.5 yards of jumble for the background, and then you just need a binding. So if you just go to the local quilt store, and if you get a fat quarter pack of any of the Kaffe ones, this one just happens to be in parakeet, and then if you buy 4.5 yards of fabric for the background, you can put this quilt together. It's great. I mean, look at that. You know, such a fun quilt. Oh, and Sarah's showing us the background. I'm sorry, the
really pretty,
backing. Isn't it beautiful? This is 108 inch. Lotus leaf in jade, 108 inch. It's a cotton sateen. It's really gorgeous. If you haven't touched any of the Tula or Kaffe backings in the sateen, they're beautiful. So you need to definitely do that. So we've got this quilt that we wanted to show quickly. And Annie, we're going to show a couple of Tula quilts, and then we'll turn it over to you so you can show the bags that you have. So we're
Okay.
going to do like a little Vanna White here of the Tula. Thank you, Sarah. Sarah's my assistant here. Thank you. Nancy's helping too. So this quilt right here, we have a new program out of Tula Pink pre-cuts. And this is called Raindrops Quilt. It was designed by Misty Meadow Designs, Cheryl. And all you do with this is you get a pre-cut pack of charms, and then you just get the background fabric. And I'm sorry, I didn't write down how much background fabric was needed on this. And you can put this quilt together really quickly. I didn't even get the sizing on that, so sorry. I got pressed for time, and I didn't put all this down. What? 5 yards for the back? Yeah, I don't remember, but we have a whole program right now of Tula Pink pre-cuts that are out in stores now, where we've created inspiration based around 5-inch charm packs, 10-inch charm packs, design rolls, and fat quarters. And, you know, just go to your local retailer and ask her if you're interested in making any of these quilts. Cheryl from Misty Meadow Designs did a beautiful job doing all of these quilts. And then I'd like to show you this quilt right here. This is Tula Pink, and this one is called Paradise Quilt. It's made out of Tula's collection Daydreamer. And this was designed by on William Street. They made this quilt. They created the inspiration for this, and they actually made the quilt as well. So very beautiful, beautiful collection. I'm going to get a little closer. I want to show you, what do I want to show? Where are the, oh, here they are. Right, there's the macaws. And we got the flamingos over here. They're cut up a little bit in there, but it just shows how beautiful the fabric looks. Whether you fussy cut or you cut it regular, you can get such a gorgeous quilt. And here's the backing. It's 108-inch, and it looks fantastic with that quilt. So it's just a fun collection, and this is shipping November-ish. It's COVID. It's still COVID. This is shipping in November of 2021. So tell your local quilt shop if you are interested in this collection that you would like to see it in their store. And we have many other pieces of inspiration to come, but like Annie, you know, a lot of our samples are out and they're traveling, and this is the one that we had lucky enough to have our hands on because this has been out as well. So we just wanted to show you this. We hope that we're inspiring you, and look at all those flying geese in there. A lot of flying geese. Yeah, but it's a beautiful quilt. So Annie, do you have some bags that you'd like to show?
I do, and I just wanted to mention that quilt you just showed by on William Street. They actually live in the same town as we do, and one of their sisters works for us. So
I didn't
small
know.
world. Yeah, I had not heard of them until she came to work, and she said, yeah, my sisters design quilts, and now their names are popping up everywhere. So they do really fun stuff. So I've just got a few things. Again, most of our Kaffe stuff is out at trunk shows, but we've got a fun set of Pack It In. We were really excited when Kaffe added this black and white print because it's so perfect to go with these for bindings. So these are our Pack It In bags, which come in 3 sizes, perfect for packing all your stuff in your suitcase. And what we did on this is we used one fabric as the main and the lining on the large, and then we flipped that same fabric around and used it for the main on the medium and the lining on that. And then we used a whole different fabric for the small one. But we really fell in love with this purple and blue combination. So that's Pack It In. And then we did a set of our pocket packers, which I showed you earlier, made with Anna Maria's fabric. And here we used just 2 sets of fabric. So we used the flowers as the main on 2 of them, and the lining we flipped over and made the main on the others. And on these we did black zippers and then just mixed up colors of zipper pulls on them to add some interest to each of those. So those are pocket packers. And then from Tula's fabric, Daydreamer, it was so interesting seeing that quilt because I didn't recognize that fabric at all till you got up close. It's so interesting how from far away it looks so very different. So we did a place for everything with hers, using the bright yellow for the borders and handles, nice contrast with a purple zipper, and then we used a whole different fabric for the pages on the inside. So we used her jaguar print with the green butterflies as the backing on those, and then used her fun kind of variegated, I don't know which, ombre style fabric to do the borders on all of those. So we had to get creative for this again because we didn't have quite as much fabric as we needed to do it all out of one, but that made it more fun. We were able to introduce even more fabrics into the pattern. The other one that we wanted to show is the same pattern I showed earlier, but again, totally different fabric. So we used this to make Val's bag, but here this is made with Tula's flamingos, and we were careful to fussy cut those for the pockets. We loved the macaws on the inside, and then we fussy cut again the flamingos for the outside. So that's the hanging cosmetics bag that folds up to carry, and the flat iron sleeve too. Lots and lots of fun with those. This would be perfect to take on a trip to Hawaii, I think.
Yes, it would. It'd be fun to go to any beach with that.
For sure. Back at you.
All right. Well, thank you, Annie. Those bags are fantastic. Thank you for sharing them with us. And so now we have Debbie back on screen.
Again. So I'm going to talk to you a little bit about our partnership with the Sanderson Design Group in the UK. They are the house that manages all of the original official William Morris designs, colors, papers, wallpapers. They are the design house that we partner with to bring you the authenticity of William Morris. So we know William Morris is iconic, and we signed a license agreement with the company back in 2016. And we introduced our first collection called Kelmscott, and of course it really focused on strawberry thieves. And of course everybody has a variation and option on strawberry thieves. It is an iconic William Morris design, but what we bring to the table is having the ability to go back into the archives and really dig and understand his color palette, the way he uses and mixes colors. Obviously, when we first started this partnership, they sent us all of their various wallpaper books and fabric books and home decor books. And as they transition and they try to bring William Morris, everything William Morris is traditional, but it can be brought into an up-to-date aesthetic. And so Sanderson Group, with the help of all the information from the archives and all the documentation they have on William Morris, created something called Pure Morris, which we have dabbled in and played with, and we've introduced now our second collection called Hawkdale, and that's what I'm here to talk about today. And some of the inspiration has come from these. You can see I've got all kinds of notes we start with. We go through the archives. Before COVID, I had the pleasure of going over to the UK and going to their design studios, and I went to their wallpaper manufacturing facility where they still print William Morris wallpapers on this antique, antiquated, beautiful print machine. It was absolutely amazing to see Strawberry Thieves in print in the facility moving along. And then they took me into a special section, and it had hand block printing wallpaper. There was literally a man who had a piece of paper, who stamped the wood block, brought it over, printed the paper, moved the paper down, took the block. It was unbelievable. And so when I look at these books, I can see the workmanship and the artisan values that go into everything they do. So obviously, as we talk about home decor and how much of an influence he's had, not only on generations, but he has an incredible influence on Kaffe Fassett and Tula Pink. They both talk about what kind of an inspiration he was to their work and how they bring some of his aesthetic and design perspective to what they do every day. So when we talked about Morris & Co., we've obviously introduced quite a few very traditional, very beautiful collections. And what better match to be with FreeSpirit Fabrics? So while we're not known as a traditional company, it's our ability to bring you authentic William Morris, but in a new, updated way. But keeping in mind, everything has been approved based on the information he has left behind. So we decided to show you and share with you today Hawkdale, which is our Pure Morris second collection. And these fabrics, not only do they work beautifully amongst themselves as a collection, but these are so soft and muted, they really work well as background pieces, coordinates, as no print prints. Really super beautiful. Here we have Strawberry Thief in just a single colorway. Not multicolored like the original we introduced. We obviously change scale as we work back and forth, depending on the collection, depending on the direction that William Morris or Morris & Co. is doing in other areas and other categories of business. But we find that this is really super beautiful. Here we've got pure bellflowers. You can see how the blues and grays pick up so beautifully. And what I'm showing you here is our approved strike off, and here is the production. So again, you can just see how beautifully the matches are. The next piece we have is pure seaweed. Again, strike off, production. We have pimpernel. Here's your multicolored pimpernel, which is, you know, all over wallpapers. And as we all know, wallpapers are right back in style. As a matter of fact, I just received an email blast from Anthropology, who has a red Strawberry Thief wallpaper on the wall for their home deck advertising. So, you know, it runs the gamut. It's available in all kinds of product categories. But here we've got pimpernel, so we went from this multicolored piece in the wallpaper to a very soft, muted, sophisticated color palette, just all in neutrals. Again, strike off in production. Then we have the pure Strawberry Thief again. We showed it to you earlier in the blue-gray. Now we have it in this really beautiful blush colorway. So feminine, it takes such a different perspective than this original one, which is really more of a tealish bluey gray. But don't they look beautiful even together? And layered in over here with pure dove and rose. Just really beautiful. Again, we've got the original strike off, production, and we even get all of that variation in the ground that is just so iconic for William Morris. And then we move into pure Wandle, strike off, production. Moving into a little deeper, darker color palette with the pure Loden. Isn't that gorgeous?
So pretty.
And again, all of these particular designs work so beautifully with what we consider our reorderable William Morris or Morris & Co. program, so that you can take some of the older original designs we came out with and work in these new palettes. It's so beautiful. Here's pure dove and rose in a bigger scale. So we've done this in 2 scales. And we've got this really graphic scroll design in both the very neutral beige color palette, as Kaffe would say, beige, very dull. And then we've got this beautiful, really soft aqua and taupe. Playing into the beautiful branches design, again, strike off, production. Super beautiful. It has a beautiful hand. It's super soft. We have a very, very special finish that we work hard with our suppliers to maintain. And we've got the artichoke design. Look at how incredible this is. You would never know that this design was created over 150 years ago.
No.
It is so relevant then as it is today. Super beautiful. Again, we brought the scale down, not teeny tiny, but very manageable, making sure that we captured all of the detail in the line work, etc. And then last but not least in the collection is this beautiful leaf pattern. It's called Acanthus Scroll, and it's just really soft. It's sort of that silvery, gray, bluey color combination. Just stunning.
Yes, it's really beautiful. When is this shipping?
Hawkdale should be shipping fallish. Yeah.
Fallish, like
Normally it's in
November-ish?
October. It's probably November-ish. with supply chain and all of the shipping issues we've been encountering, and knowing that we're backlogged about 30 days, I'm going to say it's probably more like a November ship.
This one's really beautiful.
Isn't that gorgeous? I mean, the fine line detail. We have great printers we work with in Korea. The art we receive from the artists in Denham and Loughborough, England, it's just incredible. To get to partner and work with them, to be able to visit their studio was just amazing. I wish I could say I was traveling there again this year. I don't have to wait another year.
I know.
Really beautiful. I mean, well, you can see our inspiration. Look at these beautiful embroideries. What I would love to do some embroideries. You know, we've got just a plethora of inspiration behind us. And how do we articulate that? And what's the next move? And so the team over there works hand in hand so that we bring to market what's relevant, what's working in other categories of business, and what would be really useful, beautiful, and thoughtful for makers of all kinds.
You guys did a great job with this one.
Wow, wait till you see the next collection.
Wow.
But I'm going to turn it over to you so you can talk about your beautiful inspiration quilts.
All right. So I'm going to pan over here to the quilts. So these quilts are not made in that collection because we don't have the fabric yet. But this quilt here is called Mr. Morris, and it's a 51 by 65. And this pattern can be found on our website. And if you are interested, I mean, if we don't still have some of these fabrics, because some of them are from earlier collections, you could definitely replace them with some of the William Morris fabrics that we're carrying now. So, like I said, that one's called Mr. Morris. It's a beautiful quilt. I love it. It's very traditional. You know, you could reposition a lot of the colors in that very easily to your own liking. And I believe some of this is used with 10-inch squares to make this quilt as well. So that's a nice, quick, easy project to work on. And this one is called True Morris, and it's a 66 by 66 square quilt. And what I'd like to show up close is the applique. So the center of this, Carl Hench designed this one, and this was a number of years ago that he did it. And you can see the applique work in the center here on the lilies. And then I'm going to back out just a little bit so you can get a better view of the quilt. But you can, oh, let me come back in again. Because you can see the Strawberry Thief, the smaller scale there. And then when you come out to the outside, you can see the larger scale of the navy blue Strawberry Thief. And then we've got the little seaweed dot in navy blue. And we're now carrying the red in our inventory. And a lot of, like I said, a lot of these SKUs that are in the quilt, or the designs that are in the quilt, have we may or may not still carry the fabrics, because we first designed this quilt about 4 years ago. This is 2017 that we first did this quilt, and we first took on William Morris as one of our designers. And just a gorgeous quilt, as you can see, very traditional. This pattern is also on our website, so if you're interested in, I think it's on our website. If it's not, let us know. We'll put it on our website. And so anyways, on our end, this is how we conclude today from the FreeSpirit office, those two William Morris quilts. And I just want to show the team. Thank you, Sarah. Thank you, Debbie. Thank you, Nancy.
Happy birthday, Nancy.
Thank you so much. And thank you guys so much for being with us. That fabric is going to be fabulous. We can't wait to see that in some quilts, because those are going to be amazing. So thank you. I just have a couple small things to show that we made with William Morris. When we were planning this, Sharon had sent a note to see if we had any models. And so Jake's going to put up a picture on the screen of a really nice round trip duffel that we made using Kelmscott. But we sent it to Australia, and it's happily living there. They're using it for trunk shows down there. We work really hard to make good use of every bit of fabric that is sent to us. And so when Sharon asked, I said, well, I don't have anything here, but I'm pretty sure I have some of that fabric left over. And I said, I'll do my best to make something. And I think you'll laugh when you see the piece of fabric that I found, because with a really pretty fabric like this, you just had to fussy cut. And so I worked really hard to make sure that I got that design centered on the bag, and that all the birds and medallions were centered on the pockets. And when I was done, my piece of fabric looked like quilter's lace is what I'm going to call it. I love that
That's
new term that you taught us, Sharon. So I said, well, I'm pretty sure I can get at least an easy does it out of it, which I was able to do. And so this is one of our free patterns. It's part of our ByAnnie Basics series. And I was even able to fussy cut the pieces so that I got the birds centered on the front and back. I didn't worry about them on the side strips because I figured you're focused here. I knew I had less than a half yard of the blue coordinating left, but I figured I could always use something on the inside if I needed to. But I got the little Easy Does It made, and then I needed to do some testing on a new binding technique that we're experimenting with. And so I thought I really want to try it on Easy Does It, or on Pack It In. So I also managed to cut out a small Pack It In. And trying to keep the birds centered all the way around as they went around was a bit of a chore. I didn't have nearly enough fabric to get one solid piece. So if you look closely, you're going to see where I had to join pieces of fabric, but I thought I did okay doing that. I was really disappointed when I finished this and realized, what's that?
I said, don't show us. We can't even tell.
Okay. I put the handle on here and was really disappointed because I'd worked really hard to fussy cut those birds on there, and then they got covered up by the handle. But this is a fun little project. As you can see, I've got lots of thread in here. I put all my King Tut thread in here with my bobbins. So it holds a whole lot of thread, bobbins, and everything's nice and neat and easy to access and ready to go. Well, I got both those done, and I still had some fabric left over. And so I decided, all right, next I'm going to make a peacekeeper bag. And this, too, is part of our ByAnnie Basics series. It's a good one to learn about quilting fabric, putting a zipper in a pocket, making a handle, doing binding, and the pattern is written to have a mesh pocket on the front. But because I was able to perfectly center this design, and I really didn't want to cover it up, it's supposed to have a border at the bottom, I decided to just substitute vinyl for that pocket. We also introduced our new vinyl last week, so it was a perfect thing to do, and I got a cute little peacekeeper bag out of it. So lots of fun things made with that gorgeous, gorgeous fabric. And one thing that I did want to mention, for those of you who are joining us today, if ByAnnie bags are new to you, our ByAnnie Basics series of patterns is a really good one for you to make. So it starts with some little baskets. We made these out of Kaffe's fabric that are perfect for storing your fat quarters or wonder clips or little things. Then we recommend that you do the peacekeeper bag, where you learn about putting a zipper in a mesh pocket. Then you progress on to Call Me. We made this using Val Wells' Enchanted. It's a great little bag for carrying your cell phone. And again, you learn to work with vinyl and mesh and add a zipper in a quilted fabric pocket. And then the final combination is the Easy Does It. So lots of techniques that you'll learn. They're easy projects that are accomplishable in an afternoon, and they don't take a lot of materials, so you can use scraps from your stash or buy some of these gorgeous fabrics and make really beautiful bags. So I think we're going to just go back to you guys to see if you've got anything else you want to say, and then we'll hit maybe a few questions that have come in. Oh, Jake said too to let you guys know that you're upside down. I actually don't see you at all. I just see me.
We're really...
Oh, yep, you're upside down.
Well, I don't know how to fix us.
All right. Well,
So
we'll just talk to you.
down.
Jake said just turn your iPad over.
Yeah,
Try
that's
turning
what
your...
I do. Oh, just hold on.
There you go.
Oh, we right
Now
side
you're
up
right.
now?
Yep.
Oh, okay.
It may not be right side up on yours, but you're right side up on ours. So the
Okay.
first question that came in was, where is FreeSpirit located?
Oh, we're in Charlotte, North Carolina, where it's really hot today.
I bet.
Really hot.
And humid probably too, right?
Yes.
All right. Someone asked, how do you choose the cotton that you use? And you said your cotton is milled in Korea. Is it also grown there?
Debbie might have to answer that one.
It depends.
It all depends. It depends on the mill. We buy gray goods in bulk, but we have a standard that the mill is aware of, and we do 60 squares, which means 60 threads per inch, right? No, 60. See, I don't even know.
60. Sorry, I'm on the floor. So 60 squares, there are 60 yarns going in the weft and 60 yarns going in the warp. So it's about 120 thread count.
But Kaffe is 68 squares.
Kaffe is 68 squares, which means the yarns are much finer and thinner because now you're getting 68 threads in the warp and 68 threads in the weft. And so it's 136, right? I think it's 136 thread count. So the higher the thread count, the finer the yarns.
Got it.
And Kaffe.
Oh, I have to say.
That is Kaffe's request.
Yeah.
And both are beautiful for fabric. They're both very pure, plain weave fabrics. It's not a sateen like our quilt backs. It's just a very straightforward industry standard for quilting cottons.
But I can tell you, anytime I go into a fabric store, and you usually shop as much by color, but also by feel. And you can feel those fabrics that are made in Korea immediately. That's made in Korea because it feels so soft and beautiful compared to a lot of the other fabrics. So that's awesome that's where it's made.
Ours are even better.
Well, they're always Free Spirit, I'm sure, that I pick up. Okay, so then someone asked, Kantha cloth, what is that called again? And I think it's spelled Kantha, right?
Correct. Yes, it is.
Yeah, so Kantha cloth is a patchwork top and with a backing on it that's hand stitched with big, huge running stitches with a heavy thread. And it's done by a group of artisans in a very particular region in India. And it's what they do. It's what they love. And it's really indigenous to India.
That's fabulous. I can't wait to see those.
You can find it in the marketplace. I know Wyndham does some. Yep. I'll pitch Wyndham here. Wyndham does some, and Val's art just is perfect for that. It just has that feel and tone and beauty that we wanted to give it a go, and we're very excited. We can't wait for it to hit ourselves and see what everybody does with it.
And I will say that the fabric used in Kantha is a little different than our quilting cottons. It's a little finer, it's a little lighter weight, so it has a better drape. And normally a Kantha cloth is really, the whole thing was brought about eons ago, where it was made from old saris and leftover fabrics, so they were not coordinated like our collection is by Valori. It's really more of a scrap bag of blocks put together, and then it's about that hand running stitch that's the Kantha stitch. So, but it's really beautiful.
Yeah,
easy.
Sure. It would make such a gorgeous jacket, I think.
Yes, it would.
Or fun tote, you name it. It's really beautiful. A beautiful runner. As a matter of fact, when I was out at the Sisters Quilt Show a couple summers ago, Valori had one of our competitors on the table, and I said, you just need to do that yourself. But it was so beautiful the way in her shop she had it all merchandised. She had it as a runner on the table with beautiful candles and fat quarter bundles and all kinds of things quilty. It was just stunning. It was really the inspiration and impetus to start this with Val.
That's awesome. All right, someone asked, do you ever have collections of strictly solids?
Yes.
No, we have a solids assortment. It's 100 beautiful colors that match back perfectly to all of our artists' fabrics. And in our solids, Tula Pink has designed 44 specific colors, 22 which exist in stores now, and 22 which will be delivered sometime in September. And those are Tula solids, which again, her color choices and color dips match back perfectly to anything and everything Tula's ever designed. So if you're a Tula fan, you got to get all 44 colors, including the new ones, which are called Unicorn Poop, Dragon's Breath. So we can't make this stuff. It's totally in Tula's mind.
And you probably know her well enough that you're not even going to argue with her because what she says works. That was the next question that came up is how do you decide on names for the different pieces? Do you do that or do you leave it up to the designer?
We really try to leave it up to the designers. I mean, it's obviously their art, it's their inspiration. We do help. There are some designers that hate naming things, and that's fine. But Tula by far is so super creative. She is just, we call her the rock star. I mean, when she called me and said, I think I want to name these new solids Unicorn Poop and Dragon's Breath, I was like, perfect. Because Dragon's Breath is this really soft, light pastel-y. It's almost like gradations of color she built upon her original solids. So she's got the 22 original solids. And Dragon's Breath is this really soft, light pastel-y complement. And then Dragon's Breath is a little richer and deeper, like sits in the middle of her original colors and Unicorn Poop.
Yeah, honest.
Or maybe it's vice versa. Now I always get confused because they're not in front of me. And we put that to bed months and months ago.
Year ago.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Anna, she's very creative with her names, especially her color names.
Yes.
Yeah, and her fabric names too. Like the Made My Day, it was so fun to read the names because she said, I think the inspiration for this was a flower arrangement she got from an admirer. And so she had one, I can't remember now what the one was that just made me chuckle, but it was obvious that, she just tied it all together beautifully.
Yes. And she has such a gift to do that. I mean, seriously, even when we talked about Bright Eyes, that poppy was Bossy, was the name of that particular pattern. And it's just that poppy just takes over. It's bossy in the collection. So, she's got really great anecdotes when she discusses and comes up with her creation. So it's fun.
And she has great stories behind every collection she creates. Mm-hmm. I mean, they're really, truly stories.
Yeah. I always look forward to her.
Yes. Hindsight 2020, because we introduced it in 2020, so hindsight 2020, it was perfect.
That is definitely perfect. Someone also asked, do you sell patterns to make the quilts that you showed today?
Oh,
I know several of them you said are available on your website.
Yeah. Right. We usually, I really don't want to turn the camera on.
We do. We want you to.
All right, so here I am. Usually when we work with our people that we collaborate with in terms of the inspiration, some of the patterns we will have on our website. If we have them on our website, they're a free pattern. It's something that we created in-house to put on our website. But we also work with a lot of pattern makers that are out in the industry, and they will take our fabrics and they will put them into their patterns, and so we'll cross-collaborate in that way, where they've taken our fabrics, put them in their pattern, and then we are cross-promoting them with us as well as them.
Yeah, the only patterns we really sell is if it comes in a kit.
Right.
So
got it.
If it's part of a kit, it's only available in the kit, and part of the cost of the kit includes the pattern.
Right.
All right.
Any
Looks
other
like
questions?
one last question, and part of it was thread count, which you've already covered, but they were particularly interested in William and Morris and wondering if that's also available in upholstery weight or canvas.
It is not through us. In the UK, they do decorator fabrics, but they are not available through FreeSpirit Fabric. And you would have to buy them at a store like John Lewis, which is a department store in the UK or London. So we only do 44, 45-inch width, although we do have quilt backs in William Morris. And so we have 108-inch quilt backs, and they are stunning, really stunning. But they're still the same 60 square compression.
That's fabulous.
Anything else, Annie?
Well, I want to thank all of you so very much for being with us today. The last time I was your guest, it was Nancy's birthday, and so getting to spend my birthday with the three of you today was an extra special gift. and with all the viewers that are out there. So I really enjoyed learning more about the artists that you work with, hearing about the process that you follow. And again, we just love working with all of you and your gorgeous fabrics. So we can't wait to see what comes next. And thank you for being with us today.
Well, we love working with you.
Yes, thank you, Annie. Happy birthday.
Right.
We hope you're with
Thank you.
through.
Thank you for having us.
Thanks for coming. All right. Also, before I go, I want to remind all our viewers that FreeSpirit Fabrics are carried by retailers worldwide. So if you want any of the fabrics that we showcased today or any of the other hundreds fabulous FreeSpirit fabrics, check with your local quilt shop. And this would normally be in the time in our program when we feature a local quilt shop of the week. But rather than just single out one store this week, again, we want to recognize all the local quilt shops around the world who carry FreeSpirit fabrics. Please stop in at your local quilt shop and join us in saying a big thank you to them for all that they do. And you can show your support by shopping local. While you're there, please remind the shops that ByAnnie has lots of beautiful models made with FreeSpirit fabrics that they can borrow for trunk shows. So we've got lots and lots of models, and they can get all the details by going to our website, ByAnnie.com/trunk_shows. We know that quilters and sewists love to shop, and it's always fun to find new shops to visit. So be sure to check out the fun contest that the Jaftex Corporation, who owns FreeSpirit Fabrics, is sponsoring during the month of August. It's got a long name. It's called the Jaftex Facebook Live Quilt Shop Tour Video Challenge. And Jaftex resellers in the US and Canada are challenged to create just a short video showcasing their shop. They're going to post that video to their business page on Facebook, and Scott's also going to share it on his Jaftex page too. So in addition to the opportunity to share their shop with viewers around the world, at the end of this month, the 5 top tours, or the ones who get the most views, are going to win some fun prizes. And again, Scott Fortunoff is sharing all the videos on the Jaftex page, and we're going to put up the link so you can check it out. It'll give you the chance to take a virtual tour of shops around the country from the comfort of your own home. And Scott started posting videos on August 2nd, and I've watched several each day, and I've been so impressed with the creativity that each shop owner has shown and really how unique and special each store is. So they're all doing a great job of showing what's unique about their shop, and it really shines through. So so far, and it's just been going for a few days, I've toured stores from California to Nova Scotia. I've seen shop owners on roller skates and cowgirl boots, wearing sunflower headdresses, and more. And it's really been fun for us to see ByAnnie patterns and products in many of the stores, and to take a tour of many of the shops that we know from our local quilt shop contest. So one thing that Scott said is that in the 3 years that he's won this contest, he's had an average of about 200 shops enter each year. And he said that's just a little percentage of the number of stores who could enter, and he'd really like to see more business owners participating. So if your local quilt shop hasn't posted a video yet, please encourage them to do so. They might be too nervous to get in front of the camera, or filming something on Facebook Live might be new to them, but please remind them of the benefits of sharing their shop's story with the world, and remind them how special they are. So shops have until the end of August to get their video up, so let's help them make this contest as awesome, as widespread as it should be. And again, you can view all the videos on Scott's Facebook page, so check them out, and be sure to vote by viewing and leaving some comments. Again, the 5 shops with the most views are going to win some fun prizes, so leave a comment and show some love and help them out. Speaking of prizes, we have an extra special prize today for one very lucky viewer. So you deserve a special prize after hanging in here with us for 2 hours today. So we didn't expect it to go this long, but I didn't want to stop because we were getting so much awesome information. So what we're going to do today is give away our A Place for Everything 2.0 pattern. This includes a coupon to get the free add-on video that goes with it. FreeSpirit provided us fabrics from Anna Maria's new Love Always AM line. So we've got three, one that we thought main lining coordinate or main lining coordinate, or mix it up however you want. So you've got 3 1.5 yard pieces of that, and then we're including a place for everything bundle. So that includes everything except thread to make the project. So it's going to include a 2 yard package of soft and stable, a package of interfacing that's used on some of the borders and things, a package of mesh, and a package of vinyl for doing the pocket pages on the inside. So this assumes that you'll make them half and half, some of each. If you decide you want all vinyl, you'd need a little more vinyl, or all mesh, you'd need a little more mesh. It also has the fold-over elastic that's used to bind some of the vinyl and mesh pockets, some strapping to go in handles, 2 zippers by the yard to get all the zippers on the pockets, and we're putting in the antique brass hardware to make the strap. So every single thing that you need to make a place for everything bag. Here's what you want to do to win. And don't forget, you have to do this on Facebook because it doesn't work on YouTube. Leave a comment. Tell us what you learned in today's presentation. Who is your favorite FreeSpirit designer? Which FreeSpirit line of fabric would you like to sew with next? And which ByAnnie pattern will you use with it? Who will you make it for? Tell us whatever you want to tell us. We love to read your comments. Second, we ask that you tag a friend because we really want to spread the word about our weekly lives. So share it with somebody who you would think would enjoy it. And to do that, if you're not familiar with tagging, just type the @ symbol followed by their Facebook name. Their picture and name will pop up so you can make sure you've got the right person. If you do, click on that, add your comment, and submit it. We will pick winners from comments made by midnight Mountain Time tonight. So you've got about 8 more hours to watch and comment. And finally, then remember to check your Facebook messages. Trevor's going to notify our winner and ask you to email your shipping address to us. Thank you again so much to everyone who joined us today. I enjoyed this so much, and I know you did too. We will be back next week at 2 p.m. Mountain Time with ideas for back to school. We've got lots of fun ideas to share for students of all ages, so don't miss it. And until then, happy stitching.